Awesome. So settle into a comfortable position to begin with. That can be anywhere that feels comfortable right now. And take really long, slow breaths. In through the nose and out through the nose. Let yourself settle into this moment by allowing each and every muscle in your body to soften. By allowing each breath to feel like it's nourishing and soothing right from its beginning until the very end. We're going to play around with a little bit of imagery today. Or imagery in more in sensation than physicality. So imagine right now you are floating. Your inhalation acts as your buoyancy aid. So the more you feel your lungs expand and your whole torso fill up, the easier you find it to float. The exhalation accentuates that floating sensation by allowing you to connect into your fingers, your toes, your arms, your legs. As you feel those elements floating. Now you could be floating on top of water, you could be floating in the air if you like. Doesn't matter. Staying with that floating sensation, just bring a little bit of movement back into the fingers to the toes. Yeah, and we're going to roll over or make your way onto your front. resting forehead down to begin with. Take the arms wide if you have the space, if not cactus arms. And then rolling over onto one side, doesn't matter which way you go first. You can adjust your leg position. So bottom leg can bend forwards to make it a more stable platform. Back, top leg can go back behind you to open out your hip as well. If you're already feeling a little bit mobile and you want to go there, you can take hold of the top ankle with the top hand for the quad stretch. But you don't have to add that bit on for the moment. It's about opening out through the front of the chest and shoulder. Try and feel that opening, particularly in the bottom shoulder, more so than the top. Even though the top, if the arm is behind you, it gives exactly the same feeling as the bottom shoulder, only you're not rolling away from anything specifically. If you're using the bottom arm to help guide you back, you hopefully then feel it on that bottom side even more. You can imagine that same sensation of floating as you breathe in here. If you want to go a little deeper into this, we're going to change the bottom arm into a cactus shaped arm, so with a 90-degree bend at the elbow. So you can stay exactly where you are or roll back onto the front first. Adjust your arm position so we have that 90-degree bend in the arm that you're rolling away from. And then you can choose to catch the top foot if you wish or not. It can make it harder to get that hip opening sensation when we go deeper into the chest. Now, if the sensation is really intense, can you tune into that floating feeling sent to that area? Taking 2 final breaths there. And then if you have your foot, let go of your foot. Roll back onto your front. And then swapping sides, finding a straight arm first of all. Hands level with the side of the rib cage as you roll onto that side of your body. You can spend a few moments just feeling that. Then if you wish to, take the top leg back, find the quad stretch. Or stay where you are. It's entirely up to you. On this side, you tune into your exhalation a little bit more than your inhalation. And in that exhalation, imagine your body is sinking. You feel that surrender. Surrender to the floor. Surrender to the moment. If you wish to go to the next stage, roll back onto your front first, create that 90-degree angle with the back arm, and then roll back onto your side. Again, it may not feel realistic to hold the top foot, and that's okay. Take your final 2 breaths here. And as you let go of the top leg, roll back onto your front. Bring your hands level with your chest and sit yourself up. You're going to bring the soles of the feet together. And then you can choose to tuck them up a little bit closer or slide them further away. Just find a place where your hips feel comfortable sat in this position. And we're going to find eagle arms, so taking the right arm onto the left arm and then linking the fingers, or taking the left arm to the right side and using the right arm just above the elbow to pull the arm in and across. So those are the 2 options. In fact, we've got 3 options. So you can stay here or tilt the fingers towards the left side. So whatever arm is on top, that's the direction that the arms tilt to get a deeper sensation in the rotator cuff. So once you've found your place, you're going to round the shoulders, round the spine, and hold in your fold. So again, you can adjust your leg positioning from here. And depending on where your body is feeling restricted or released, depending on where you feel it. So maybe your upper back, your left shoulder, rotator cuff, so the rear shoulder. It might be down your spine, might be into your inner thighs. So let's apply that sinking imagery to your lower body. As you exhale, feel connected to the ground through the ankles, the sit bones, and then any other part of your body that's touching the floor. As your exhale lengthens, can you feel those parts of your body giving way? So you can take 3 more breaths before we change the arms. And whenever you're ready, we're taking the left arm this time under the right arm, wrapping the fingers for eagle arms, or this time the right arm will go to the left side and the left arm would hook underneath the elbow to pull the arm across the body. Tuck the chin around, the shoulders roll back down. Maybe this time you have automatically a little bit more leeway in the movement. Fingertips then slide towards the right hand side for that little extra sensation in the rotator cuff. Take 3 more breaths here. And then slowly unraveling. Bringing the legs back in together. Doing whatever you need to, maybe taking the feet wide apart here and then just allowing one knee to roll into the centre one at a time. Or anything else that your body needs to do in counteraction to that last pose. Next, you might find some cushions or something soft to place underneath your knee might be helpful. You take your front foot slightly wider than your shoulder in your dragon. And then you can choose where you want to stay. You can be here on your hands. If you find that stressful for your wrists, anytime you're welcome to take your forearms onto your thigh and use that to lean on. You can drop down onto your forearms or fill any space with blocks or cushions. Nice. Can sometimes not be the easiest pose to completely relax into. But see if you can tune into the places that you need to relax. So let's begin with the front of the thigh, or the leg is at the back. So can you let the whole of the front space of your leg relax so the muscle melts? How about the side of the hip, or the bit right where it pinches in the front of your pelvis of the bent leg? Can you imagine that pinching sensation is no longer there if you get that? Or can you imagine that the whole of the front of your pelvis is more spacious? And then perhaps it's the shoulders or the wrists next. Sometimes holding yourself up in a pose like this can cause a little bit of muscular tension. Can you go with that energy instead? Instead of seeing it as a challenge or a fight, start to see it more as a warmth and a glow. We've got 75 seconds left here. So think long, deep breaths. Two final breaths. And then slowly shift your hips back. Come onto all fours, have a little shake side to side in the hips, or maybe a couple of rounds of up, cat, down, cat. And we're going to change sides as soon as you're ready to. Taking your foot to the outside of your shoulder. You can have it as wide or as narrow as you wish, like within that span and within that range. Settle into a position that feels challenging, yet you can hold for a period of time. Just checking in with your hip position first of all. Hips are in a neutral position, so we're neither tilting your pelvis towards the floor or tucking it under. It's that happy floaty place in the middle. And tune into your inhalation. Let it feel like your inhalation is pulling your whole torso towards the front of your mat. But the leg that's behind you at the moment, that leg is stuck. So the inhale is trying to drag you forwards, the exhale pulls you back or stops you from moving. So we're sending that energy down through that hip, down into the floor. Your breath follows that same direction, that same pattern. We're in our last 60 seconds. And gently begin to make movements to your body. Shift the hips back. Or step the leg back. Do anything that you need. And thread the needle. You're going to stay on your hands and knees. Walk your hands as far forward as you need to be able to bring your chest down towards the floor. Your forehead doesn't have to touch, by the way. So we're just going to spend the first 5 breaths here in mountain heart. Connecting into the stability of your hips. So we're going to ground down through the shins and the tops of the feet, pulling the inner thighs wide. Threading your right arm under the left arm. So your right shoulder blade is on the floor, and then you can adjust your left arm by sliding the hand back just in front of your face to help encourage a deeper sensation and rotation. If this is too uncomfortable to be in, you're welcome to find child's pose with a twist. So either with the hips over the knees or with the hips on the heels. Imagery is a really powerful tool for helping us to explore our creative ideas and even our plans and goals for the future. Often visualizing ourselves into a situation can help us to understand if that's what we want or if there's something else that we need in that space. So is there a way that you could apply that right now? Can you imagine maybe the house that you want to live in 5 years' time? Can you start to picture how you would have it laid out? What colour it is? Or perhaps it works better for you to imagine what your business would be like in 5 years' time. If you're in thread the needle, change sides. But we're not all blessed with the kind of imagination that can picture things. So if it's something that's a bit of a struggle for you, don't worry, it might not be what works for you. You may be the kind of person that needs to write things down or draw things rather than imagining. So if nothing comes to mind, it's okay. Taking one more breath in, one more breath out. And then gently unravel. If you've got a wall or a sofa close by or a chair, then you're welcome to use that to help you for the next posture. So I'm just going to shuffle up to a wall a little bit more just to show you what I mean. You're going to come onto the back, cross one ankle over the opposite knee. And then if you've got a wall close by, I would suggest being a little bit closer than I am to the wall right now. You can place your foot onto the wall so then you don't have to reach through and grab hold of the leg. If you haven't got a wall close by or anything that you can use, don't worry, you can stay on your back. Cross one ankle over the opposite knee and pull the other leg in. So either way, we're finding a stretch through the glute of the leg that you're crossing over. And just check your hips are evenly placed on the floor, because sometimes we can naturally start to twist our pelvis just a little bit to make it feel more more comfortable in the position that we're in. So we kind of compensate a little bit. And we don't always give our hips the stretch that it needs that way. So yeah, just wriggle around, find the place which serves you best. Tuning into your breath. Observing how it feels to float in this posture. If you imagine your torso is the bit that's expanding and floating, how does it make the other parts of your body feel? Does it help you to naturally let go in your lower back? Or is there anywhere else that you notice it more? After your next exhalation, change your legs over. If you need to do anything in between sides, that's okay. Now, can you imagine yourself in the place that you'd like to be? Now, that place, that could be an actual place. It could be a sunny beach or the top of a mountain. Or maybe you can picture yourself in your ideal job role, or in the family that you hope to have in a few years' time. Wherever it is or whatever it is that you want in your future, can you picture yourself there? And then, as I said before, if you can't think of anything right now, that it's okay. Don't stress yourself out about it. Even just the act of thinking, I've not thought about this for a while. Where do I want to be? Is enough to set the the wheel turning, the cogs turning. Taking 3 more breaths where you are. And then gently make your way out of the pose. You know, you're more than welcome to stay up against the wall if you wish. And then you can walk your feet up the wall, for legs up the wall pose, and spend your last few moments here. If you've got a block or a cushion close by, and you can place it underneath your hips. And that's regardless of whether you're at the wall or not. Lifting the hips up, raising the hips a little gives you that air of floatiness with the lower body again, but is also just enough to find support on your pelvis and to let you but you hang essentially in midair. And then you may well feel the blood rushing down from your feet, all the way down the length of your legs. And for some people that can be really nice, it can aid your recovery. For some others it might not feel that good, so you're welcome to come out of it at any point you wish. And if there's a struggle to keep the legs straight, bending your knees is just as effective. Imagery is also another clever way that we can picture our progress, like in real-time form. So say you're playing a sport. If you imagine that you're going twice as fast or lifting twice as heavy, and you picture yourself in that moment, like at the time when everything is relying on you to either run that fast or lift that weight. If you can picture yourself doing it, you can make the actual act of doing it so much easier. Or perhaps you've got a driving lesson, driving test, or any kind of test. You picture yourself in that situation. Maybe you picture yourself in the worst case scenario. So it mentally prepares you. It helps you to face all possible options, consequences. And then it helps you to tackle the actual event with more ease, more clarity and more focus. If your legs are up in the air, bend your knees. Slowly bring your legs back down. And everyone, hug your knees into your chest. Place your feet back down onto the floor. And then if you need a few moments here before moving again, then go for it. Or if you're ready, slowly shuffle yourself away from the wall. And in your own time, in your own way, sit yourself back up.